Hey everyone, this is a video response for the Saturday night scrappers design team application. Sorry, I'm a little tired. Anyway, it's been a crazy week for us. I know I'm right under the wire. I just barely learned about your group, so I figured, what the heck, I'll throw my hat in, and you know, if I don't get it, that's fine, because it was last minute, but here it is. You talked in your video about wanting us to show you what we do. What do we love? What do we have to offer, I guess. I have a channel that I've been doing for a long time, so there's a lot on there, and you're welcome to go look and see some of the things I do. But if you want to know in a nutshell what I do, if it's paper crafts, I do it. I also do some sewing and quilting, but not as much as I used to. I also make doll clothes. But in terms of paper crafts, stamping is sort of the center of that, and making it my own. So I don't use a lot of prefab embellishments. I make a lot of embellishments, and I enjoy that. I do scrapbook. I do make mini books. I do alter things. I do all kinds of things. But I'd say most of my time is done scrapbooking. Yeah, scrapping cards and mini books. But I make all my own embellishments, and I do a lot of stamping techniques. So that's what I do. And today I'd like to show you or demonstrate to you the bolero technique. I saw this morning. Dawn, and I'll put a link to her tutorial down here, was doing one of these, and I just wanted to play with it and see how many directions could I take this. So I am going to show you with some different products than she used, and then I'm going to show you a bunch of examples that I've made so that it just really pushes this technique in a lot of directions. It is a great technique. It's super simple. So the things you're going to need, you need dye ink, and I'm using Tim Holtz. She used Stampin' Up! Ink. I'm using Tim Holtz Distress Ink because I use that for almost everything. You need one light colored pigment ink pad. She used Stampin' Up! White. I'm going to use Brilliance Moonlight. I've also used a silver and a gold and a yellow, and I'll show you what I've done with it in terms of making this technique go a lot of directions. For this particular piece that I'm making, which is a little embellishment to put on a scrapbook page, I'm also going to use some StazOn ink. I'm going to use some stamps. I've got a stamp from the Angel Company, and I've got a stamp from Club Scrap. I'm going to use inking tools. I'm going to use a circle template that I made on the Cricut, and you just make random different sizes of circles, and they don't have to be in any particular configuration because you're really just using the circle one at a time. So this I made on the Cricut. This is just cheap acetate. If you had a better template, or maybe you don't have a template, or you don't have a Cricut, if you have circles, circle punches, you could do that through just cardstock and make your template. And notice these circles aren't perfectly round. I like that, and it adds something. So you could just draw your own circles, to be honest, and just cut them freehand. They wouldn't have to be perfect because this technique is not about perfection. The technique is mimicking a camera that is unfocused. So it's just colors in the background, and there's some really great papers out right now that are using this bolero camera technique. I think I saw one today in a collection by Kaisercraft, and basically it's just that unfocused colors. So I'm starting with my tumbled glass, and I just put the color down. You always start with the lightest color. Then you're going to grab your next color, and for that I am going to use my Salty Ocean, because this one's going to be kind of just blue. And just take a light hand. Remember, with these Tim Holtz inks, that you want to layer it in slowly. And it doesn't need to be perfect, because it's not a perfect thing. So then the last, I'm going to add some peacock feathers for a little bit of teal fun, because I just love peacock feathers. It's one of my favorite colors. And I'm just pushing it in. And then I'm going to go back and take my tumbled glass, and I usually do this at the end. Take my tumbled glass just like this, and I just go like this, and it smooths everything to do that. So basically, this is what you have. Random colors. Pretty easy. Okay, push all that out of the way. Take your template, open up your pigment pad, place your circles onto, and just dab the circles. Do note that if you don't heat set this and really let it dry, and really even if you do with this kind of ink, you're going to get color transfer onto your sponge. So the idea here is that not all the circles are the same intensity. Some of them are darker and some of them are lighter. So this is where I'm beginning, and I'm going to keep going, and you want them to overlap. And you don't want the white to completely cover the color underneath. You want it to just lighten that area, and you want the color underneath to show through. And you want to have various circle sizes. You don't want all big ones or all little ones, and you definitely want to go off the edge like I did just there. Let's see here. Let's go with that. So some of them I'm just dabbing a little. Some of them I'm really rubbing that ink in so it's brighter. And there's no perfect, it's, you know, this is just play. Just play and have fun with it. And then when you think you're done, you are. So that's what you get, is you get this sort of unfocused white circles in the background. Sorry about my cat. I'm going to heat it. Just to kind of dry it. You'll note that Brilliance ink does get darker. Brilliance ink gets darker as it dries. And then the neat thing about Brilliance is there's a little bit of shimmer to it. So you can't, let me see if I can get it to show. You see how that shimmers? It's just a little bit of shimmer. So that's why I like it. I think it's fun. Alright, so now I'm going to stamp on my just to finish it up and make it into something that I could put on a scrapbook page. And when I'm stamping, especially with a broad stamp like this, I like to use a pad behind my paper, and I like to stamp it off first on some other paper. And then that really primes the ink in the pad. So I'm just going to put this right here. And then I'm going to take my words. Stamp it off once. Okay. And just to give a little extra something, I'm going to pull out this Studio G washi tape I got from Walmart the other day. Let's just layer it up a bit. to give it something extra. Oh, there's some glitter. That's fun. Ooh. I just want a touch of that one peeking out down here. And where was this one? Yeah. Ooh. Oh. Doesn't want to stick to that, so I'm going to shoot it with a little glue underneath that washi tape right there because it's not wanting to stick to the glitter tape. And there you have it. We could keep going with it, but I think if we put too much on it, we cover the bolero technique, which would be sad. So this is a little embellishment that I've created. And this is kind of the idea behind the bolero technique is to use that white ink and create that sort of unfocused spots. Now let me show you a few other projects that I've done with this. With this card, I used hearts and I used pinks in the background. So it's almost a Valentine card, but it turned into a birthday card. So it's got some glitter and a little prima doll and her present. Okay. With this one, I used more of a green, peacock feathers, and this is peacock feathers and peeled paint on it, and there's some peeled paint and shabby shutters. And then instead of using the white on this one, I used Encore Silver. And you have to be light with Encore Silver because it can really be thick and dark and actually cover the underneath. But I just loved how that came out. So I just really played with this technique. I asked myself, could it be done on glitter paper? I have some glitter paper some gold glitter paper, and I did this technique, and then I put the circles, I made the circles out of Brilliance gold ink. So it's almost like I put color on, and then I restored the gold with the circles. And this is just a little piece you could put on a scrapbook page for journaling. This particular piece, I was experimenting with, you know, sort of that one layer idea, because this is perfect for that. And I used, what inks did I use for this? I used Wild Honey, Dried Marigold, and I think I used Milled Lavender. And then for the circles, I used Brilliance Yellow, and it's just lovely. And then I just stamped in StazOn over the top of it with the greeting and the flowers, and then just some twine. So it's a really simple sort of one layer type card. And then here's my last example, again another one layer. Instead of the circles, I used stars, and this is the Brilliance gold ink. I believe this was Tumbled Glass, Salty Ocean, and the jeans one, Faded Jeans. And then this is an example of that paper, the gold paper that I had used previously to create this embellishment. So you can see the difference between the gold where it's been inked and the gold where it hasn't. And then just faux stitching stamp and a stamp here, and then interestingly enough, see where it says dreams? I put the dreams in the gold, and then over it I put live the life you have imagined. So it's kind of a fun dimensional card. I think that's a pretty good indication of the kind of work that I typically do. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you'll have a good day. Bye-bye.